one of my most extreme pieces was when I really pushed my body to the limits, because I didn't ever want to die. I'm not interested in dying, but I'm interested in how far you can push the energy of the human body, how far you can go, and then see that actually our energy is almost limitless. It's not about the body, it's about mind who push you to the extremes that you never could imagine.
Rhythm Zero by Marina Abramovich is an endurance and art performance piece that has pushed the bounds of performance art and art in its entirety. In the performance, she stood immobile for 6 hours, inviting the audience to do whatever they wanted to her. She laid out 72 items on a table for them to use at their disposal, including dangerous tools and weapons. She stated to the audience, "There are 72 objects on the table that one can use on me as desired." Performance. I am the object. During this time, I take full responsibility. The performance, which took place in Naples, Italy, lasted a total of 6 hours. The objects displayed on the table ranged from seemingly harmless, such as food, a pen, perfume, a feather, and a rose, to dangerous, like a knife, razor blades, a saw, a gun, and a bullet. She told the audience that in this time they could do whatever they wanted to her with no consequence. According to Abramovich, the evening of the performance started calmly, with nothing eventful occurring at the beginning. She was fed cake, bread, and was given roses. However, as the performance went on, acts of kindness grew sparse. The audience realized that they were free to do whatever they wanted and began to worry less about punishment. The sharp razor blades provided were used to cut her clothes off. She was then sexually violated by members of the audience several times throughout the performance in various ways. The same razor blades were also used to cut her neck and body, and some people even drank her blood. She had been slapped and punched by the audience and was visibly bruised, and she also endured cuts from rose thorns. At one point, she was tied to a table. In the 4th hour of the performance, a loaded pistol was pushed up against Abramovich's head with her finger moved to the trigger, after which a fight broke out amongst the audience. This made it clear that the audience had been split into two opposed groups, one of aggressors and the other of protectors. While some people in the audience tried to hurt her, there were also members in the audience who tried to care for her after others' violent acts. They wiped her tears, bandaged her wounds, and even hugged her. When the performance ended after 6 hours, she began to walk towards the audience. When she came out of her immobile state, most of the audience rushed to leave the room. Rhythm Zero is an example of how art can utilize the vulnerability of its creator, can evoke emotion and provoke thought, and can engage with its audience to create a message. Behaving as a social experiment, it tested the audience's capacity to make morally valuable decisions, even when given complete freedom. Through the experiment, Abramovich also attempted to explore the human tendency towards violence. Rhythm Zero is not the first time that Marina Abramovich explored human psychology and the limits of the human body through performance art. In fact, Rhythm Zero is a part of a series of 5 works by Abramovich, each exploring the limits of her own body. While many of her performances focused on testing her own limits, Rhythm Zero especially focused on also revealing the true nature of her audience. Most of her performances featured self-inflicted violence. Rhythm Zero went beyond that, allowing strangers to inflict pain upon her. Around the time of Abramovich's performance of Rhythm Zero, performance art was already a well-known art form. The 1970s saw various movements, such as second-wave feminism, civil rights movements, environmentalism, and also the questioning of institutional power. It's notable that in this decade, conceptual and performance art were starting to flourish more than ever, seeing a sharp rise in popularity. Artists like Chris Burden and Yoko Ono also explored themes of endurance, vulnerability, and audience interaction. Rhythm Zero is a powerful reminder that art has the ability to evoke intense feelings within an audience and has the ability to test the human mind. Though Rhythm Zero is far more than a performance, it is a cultural artifact that, to this moment, continues to spark discourse about human nature, power dynamics, consent, responsibility, and the limitations of art.